número dos.
Activity numero dos.
Area word problems. So instead of just having a big space, we're going to actually read the problem and figure out how to draw it for ourselves. Friends, this is my first point because I have people who have tools in their hands, I have people who are in their desks, I have sticky notes that are up. So that's my point. What do you say?
Oh, man.
We're focused up here. I'm waiting. I still have some friends who aren't taking care of it.
You should probably tap your marker so it doesn't dry out.
Okay. Problema número uno.
Problema numero uno.
The mattress has a length of 7 feet and a width of 6 feet. What is the area of the mattress? Well, when they're asking area, we know area's the space inside. For the space inside, you
multiply.
Friends, when I hear width and length, Savannah, that is telling me how wide it is, how tall it is. It's telling me my dimensions. So if it's 7 feet long and 6 feet wide, I'm going to draw a 6 by 7 or a 7 by 6 shape, right? I will go ahead and put feet. Does anybody know the shortcut label for feet? Instead of spelling out feet, Keegan? It's just FT. So if I have a mattress that's 6 feet wide and 7 feet long, what would I do to find the area of the mattress? Jade, can you remind me what my song is? Areas. What did Jade just remind us to do? Multiply. One moment, friends. Class.
Yes.
What did Jade just remind you to do to solve this problem? If we're looking for the area, River, we're going to multiply. So I would just write 6 times 7 equals something. Now I've got a jingle. Channel 6, channel 7. Does anybody remember? 42. Nice. Just after one day, you guys are impressing me. 42. What though? Because it can't just be 42 feet.
Square units.
And since it's area, you guys normally use square units, but they didn't just say these are units. They're specifically feet. So that means that each square isn't just going to be a unit, but it's going to be a square foot. So my label's square feet. Do you see how I did that? Since we were measuring in feet, instead of just square units, it's specific now. Units can be like this big, or this big, or this big, or miles. But when they give us a measurement, instead of saying square units, we say square, whatever type of unit we're measuring in. Capiche?
Centimeters.
Capiche? So you can have square feet, square miles. Who's got another example of something we measure in? Addison?
Square centimeters.
Square centimeters. Emerson? What's something else we measure length with?
Square inches.
Square inches.
Square measurement.
I look for GTA instead of blocks, remember. You want to phone a friend, Emerson? Square millimeters. Kevin? Square feet. Braylon? Square meters. River? Square yards. We can use any of those. But if they tell us what we're measuring in, that's the type of squares we're talking about. Get it?
Got it.
Good. This time, I want you to pull your markers out. Pull out your markers.
Pull out your markers.
If we're in math, what type of marker do you need?
Expert.
Yep. So now you can officially have that tool in your hand. Are we playing with it, or are we ready for the problem?
Ready for the problem.
Prove it, because I see some people who don't have it ready to go. Yep. Please read with me. The wading pool at Evans Park. River's the only person I heard read the second word with me. Are you guys ready? Addison, are you ready?
Yep. I need to catch
Okay. The wading pool at Evans.
Evans Park is shaped like a square with sides
8 feet long.
What
Is the area of the wading pool? What word tells me the shape that I'm going to be drawing for my math drawing here? Macy? Square. It literally tells me it's shaped like a square. So your first step is draw a square. What do you need to do?
Draw a square.
Notice the sides of squares. What's the special thing about squares' sides?
They're all even.
They're all even. They're all equal. And so when they tell me that it's a square with sides 8 feet long, I know that this square is going to be an 8 by 8, right? Because they have to be equal. Go ahead and label that 8 by 8. Who taught what unit we're measuring in? Do you have it labeled 8 by 8? What are we measuring in? Is it inches? Is it centimeters? Is it feet? Is it yards? Miles? Savannah? Feet. So I'm going to put 8 by 8 feet. It reminds me that that's what I need in my label. Oops, let me zoom out a second there. This shape, this wading pool is 8 feet by 8 feet. So, how do I find the area? Area's the space.
Inside the space inside we multiply.
Who's got a smart equation for me to solve this problem? Miss Macy. Bingo. 8 times 8. This pool is 8 feet wide. It is 8 feet long. Does anybody remember my 8 times 8? I shut the door. When I open it up, there's
64.
I am so impressed. You guys get a point for that one. What do you say?
Oh yeah.
5 to 2, man. All right. 64. I heard somebody say it, but I look for GTA for my mathematicians. What would my label be? It is an area problem, but I know what I'm measuring in. So instead of just square units, stacks, you got it? It's really similar to my last problem. What type of feet? If it's just feet, then I'm like just measuring with a tape measure how long it is, right? But since it's on the inside, instead of just feet, it's going to be
Square feet.
square feet. Bingo. Go ahead and jot that down on yours. Square feet. Now here's the thing. I drew my pictures pretty tiny, so that's why I didn't actually draw them in. Like if I did this, I would have to draw really itty bitty to get that many squares, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, now I did too many. Ay, ay, ay. But if I wanted to draw the squares to help me solve that, since h is an even number, I wanted to help you guys with this. Would you practice drawing the squares with me? Markers ready? Because 8 is even, first I'm going to cut it in half. What do I do first? Who knows what half of 8 is? Miss Braylon. That means that I need 4 columns on each side of this. You're doing this also. So, is 4 an even number?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm going to cut each side in half. What do I do?
Cut each side in half.
Thanks, Emerson. Now I've got 4. Is 4 how many I need?
Yes. No.
How many do I need?
7.
8. So I'm going to chop each of these in half again. Now that one became 2, 4, 6, 8. They got super tiny. But do I officially have 8 columns?
Yes.
Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 on mine. Double check your drawing. See if you've got 8. If you don't, you can always add a column if you need another one, or delete a column. Since you're using a dry erase marker, you can just wipe it off. If you are using your pencil, you can erase it. Nice. Then we're going to do that for our rows. What was my first step, friends, since it was an even number? I cut it.
In half.
I cut it in half. I'm going to do that again. Cut it in half. Try to find that middle. And then cut them in half again. Zhink, zhink. Maddie, do you need to change your shoes?
I still got my timer.
Okay. And then cut those in half again. Zhink,
Where's Maddie?
zhink, zhink. Do you need to worry about it? Zhink.
Because of the
Holy
reason.
cannoli, that's a lot of teeny, teeny, tiny dots. Squares, really. It is 64 squares. Emerson, how did you know that we officially just made 64 squares?
Because the answer is 64.
Yeah, because when I have 8 squares times 8 squares, it ends up being a total of 64 squares. Emerson, that was so smart. You just earned us a point. What do you say?
Oh,
Go ahead
yeah.
and use your marker to add it to our list. 6 to 2. Man, you guys are starting to smoke me here. Now, does it make sense for us to draw these squares in every single time?
No.
How many of you want to solve it that way by drawing squares and then counting 64 squares to find the area? You'd rather do it that way?
Yes.
If you would rather, if that helps your brain, if that helps your brain, that's fine. But did we get our answer when we just had this? Were we still able to find our answer when all we had was a blank one with our labels?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, we found 8 times 8 is 64. We got the same answer with much less work because we were learning our facts. What were we doing? That's why it's so important. This is a great backup method. You can totally count the squares to check your work, but if you get those facts memorized, all you have to do is say, okay, it was 64, instead of drawing 64 teeny tiny squares in. Are you ready for some more practice? Please erase. Class.
Yes.
This next problem's all you. Remember, picture, equation, answer, label. What are the 4 things you need? Picture, equation, answer.
And label.
Alright, I'll read it to you. Milo's rug has a length of 5 feet and an area of 40 square feet. I lied. I'm going to help you guys out with this one. It has a length of 5 feet and an area of 40 square feet. And they want to know, what is the width of his rug? What can I draw? What do I know so far? Someone I haven't heard from in math yet. Miss Ryland.
So
We're talking about a rug. What shape would that probably be?
a square or a rectangle?
Probably a square or a rectangle. And if they're saying
Sometimes
one side's 5,
circles.
let's go ahead and do a rectangle because I think more often than not rugs are rectangles. So first, draw a rectangle.
Rectangle, dry rectangle.
You're right. If it's a rectangle, the sides are not even. I am much more concerned about you guys joining me for math than scrubbing your
It
desk.
looks like a square.
So right now I need you with me.
Yeah, yours does look like a square.
Nah. Who can tell me some information that I can plug in for my problem? River, what's one thing that I know?
It says feet.
It is in feet. Good. She knows what we're measuring in. Feet. What else did they tell me in my problem? Landon, did they tell me how many feet?
No.
They don't tell me how many feet long it is.
40.
Look at that problem again. Do you see any numbers?
Oh, yeah. How is a rug?
Oh, class.
No. Yes.
Okay. We have our rectangle rug. From the problem, Mr. Landon, what's a number that you see?
40.
40, and it says 40 square feet. So if this 40 is with square feet, is it talking about my squares on the inside or one of my outside measurements? Inside. Since it says squares, 40 square feet, that goes on the inside. So friends, I need you to add that to your drawing, 40 square feet. Brilliant, Landon. Because it was square feet, it's got to be my squares that go on the inside of my shape. So I found that measurement. What other measurement did they tell me in my problem? What other measurement did they tell me in my problem? Olivia? 5 feet. And that's telling me what? They told me that it's got an area of 40 square feet, so that one on the inside. 5 feet is going to be one of my sides, right? Since there's a length, it tells me how long it is. So I'll go ahead and put it on top. You could put it on the side too, that's fine. Now we have that little saying, areas, the space inside, for the space inside we multiply. But we already have the space inside. So to find a side, you must divide. Can you say that for me? To find a side, you must divide. It's just like flipping our equation with our inverse equations. Something times 5 gives me 40. So if I gotta find one of those factors, I've gotta flip that and divide. 40 divided by 5 will tell me that other side. Rylan, do you think you know it already? Oh, really? Let me tell me my equation first. What would be my division equation?
40 divided by 5 equals something.
You're right. She's got my equation. How can I solve this equation, my friends?
And you can count by 5 to get to 40.
Rylan, you're rocking math today. Go ahead and do that for me, friends. Count by your 5s up to 40. 5, 10,
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
How many count bys did it take?
8.
8. So 40 divided by 5 is 8. Now,
Square.
be careful, because we're so wanting to do that, right? Since we're doing area problems.
Square unit.
We have square feet when we're talking about the space inside. Did we find the space inside on this problem?
No.
We didn't. We found a side. So all we have to ask ourselves, if they're asking, what is the width of the rug? Ooh, Gunnar, you're on the right track. Gunnar said, well, then it's just units. Except for we got to be more specific because they told us what types. Ooh, no, not even that. The square units was the area part.
Rectangle.
What type of units were we measuring our length and our width in, Savannah?
Rug unit.
Oh my goodness, there were so many Savannahs that sounded like boys in my classroom just then.
Rectangle square unit.
No, good guess. What did we put our length as? The length and the width are always going to be the same type of measurement. Skylar?
Square feet.
Well, the area, when it's the space inside, it gets to be square feet. But if it's on the outside, it's just plain old feet. Do you guys see that? Repeat after me.
Repeat after me.
Oh my goodness, try again. Repeat after me.
Repeat after me.
The space inside
Space inside.
is square units.
Square unit.
Because we fill it with squares.
Fill it with squares.
I'm losing you. Keep repeating after me.
Keep repeating after me.
The outsides
The outside.
are plain old units.
Rectangle unit.
You can measure in feet,
Measure in feet.
inches,
Inches.
centimeters,
Centimeters.
meters,
Meters.
yards,
Yards.
miles,
Miles.
any regular unit.
Millimeters.
But there's no squares on the outside.
There's no squares on the outside.
Stop repeating. Can somebody kind of restate that or summarize what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference between your label for the areas inside from our sides? What's the difference in those labels? Kevin.
There's no squares outside of it.
There's no squares on the sides. So instead of calling this square feet, my answer 8 label is just going to be plain old feet. Nice work, my friends. Erase.
Erase. Erase. Erase.
This one really is all on your own. So I'm going to read it and I want to see your picture, equation, answer, label. Lana wants to enclose a garden plot. Each side of the garden will be 9 feet. What is the area of the garden? Here, I'll get that a little higher up for those of you in the back to see. Lana wants to enclose a garden plot, and each side of the garden is 9 feet. What is the area of the garden? if each side's the same length, think about what side or what type of shape that would be. And you're solving. Really? Alright, focus, focus.
Everybody focus.
Let's see how you did. I need a mathematician volunteer to tell me exactly what I need to draw and do to solve this problem. Who thinks they can do that? So if you tell me to draw a shape, I gotta go specifically based off what you tell me. Miss Braylon, what do I need to do? Draw a square, I can do that. Each side has 9 feet, so I'm gonna write like 9 feet on all 4 sides. Oh, okay. So I'll put like 9 feet on this side and 9 feet like that. Over here. 9 times 9 equals 81. And I'm all done? How did you know square feet? Oh, and since it would be the space inside, that's where my squares would go, right? Friends, can you show me your gestures? Do you think something different? Or are you in total agreement with Braylon? What do you think, Hadley? I don't see your gestures.
Was what?
Are you in total agreement with Braylon's work here? Or do you think something different? Gunnar, you think something different? What do you do?
All I did was really, made 9 lines, and then made another 9 lines, and then I counted all of them, and I got 81.
Kind of like that, and you counted every single square. Would that also work?
Yes.
You still got the same answer, yes? Both methods work. Which one's probably a little faster for your brains?
Braylon.
Probably Braylon's, but both ways work. Nice work, my friends. What do you say? Oh yeah. Erase.
Oh.